God's chosen ones right now. God is calling your name. Ignore this and lose everything tonight. In the stillness of the universe, a single bell rings. Its sound doesn't come from this world, but from heaven itself, a realm where time no longer exists. In the darkness, the invisible thread between heaven and earth begins to tremble, carrying your name. Chosen one. Heaven is calling you. This call is not meant for anyone else. If you ignore it, if you turn away as if you never heard it, you could lose everything God has prepared for you, the very things He wrote into your destiny before the world was formed. Stop. Don't scroll past this. Listen, because this moment is not random. This is the moment heaven is calling your name. Tonight, the sky is strangely quiet. Moonlight covers the silent room, and only the whisper of the wind slips through the window like a message from another world. Somewhere in the realm of the spirit, a letter rests on heaven's table. But if you pause just for a moment and listen, you'll hear His voice, soft yet filled with power. My child, it's time. This isn't just a message. It's a divine summons, one that will change the direction of your entire life. If you ignore it, you may lose what God has written just for you, the doors, the miracles, the promises engraved in light. But if you respond, if you whisper, "Yes, Lord, I'm listening," everything will shift. Because the moment you answer, destiny begins to move. The doors that were closed will open. Light will flood the places where darkness once ruled. And your soul, weary, wandering, almost silent, will breathe again. Tonight is not an ordinary night. This is the night heaven is calling your name. Can you hear it? Part 1. The price of ignoring the call. There are moments in life when time seems to stop. Just a single breath, yet enough to draw the line between light and darkness, between blessing and loss. And in that moment, God calls your name, not through a phone, not through a human voice, but through a sound deep inside your soul, one that only your spirit can hear. But too often we stay silent. We are busy, afraid, uncertain, or simply unwilling to listen. And in that silence comes the cost. Jonah once heard the voice of God. It thundered within him, "Go to Nineveh and speak to my people." But Jonah, a man who knew God's power, turned away. He didn't argue, didn't rebel. He just walked in the opposite direction. He bought a ticket, boarded a ship, and sailed away from the course heaven had set. But the calm sky began to tremble. Waves rose like the anger of heaven itself. On deck, people screamed and threw cargo overboard. Jonah bowed his head, heavy with guilt. He knew the storm wasn't random. It came because he had chosen silence when God called. He was thrown into the sea, swallowed by a great fish. 3 days and nights, he lay in the cold, wet dark, no light, no sound, only one truth. You cannot outrun the call of heaven. That story isn't just Jonah's story, it's ours. Many of us have heard the call and walked the other way. Maybe God has whispered to you before, "Forgive, go back, pick up that dream again." But you hesitated, you were afraid, you said, "Not now." You thought you could pause His call, answer later. But the soul has no pause button. When you delay, the door begins to close. Samson was chosen too. He was given strength beyond measure. But he forgot his covenant. He thought he could play with the sacred bargain, with his calling. He let temptation steal his heart, forgetting who had given him his power. And one morning he woke to find his enemies at the door. He jumped up as before, but this time the strength was gone. The Spirit of the Lord had left him. Samson fell, captured, blinded, and bound in chains. His power didn't vanish because of his sin. It vanished because he ignored the call. People can lose everything not because they're weak, but because they no longer hear the voice of God within them. Then there was Saul, the first king of Israel, chosen and anointed. But in his pride, he listened to the voice of man more than the voice of God. One day, the prophet Samuel said to him, because you have rejected the word of the Lord. He has rejected you as king. And Scripture says, the Spirit of God departed from Saul. He lost his kingdom, his peace, and the presence of God, all because he stopped listening. That is the greatest tragedy of all, losing connection with heaven. Chosen one. Have you ever felt like you've lost that signal? You still pray, still sing, still speak, but hear nothing in return. You think heaven is silent. But the truth is, heaven never stopped speaking. You just shifted to another frequency. Somewhere above your name still glows in God's golden light. A letter with your name sealed with light and love is still waiting. But you haven't opened it. You're still running, still busy, still trying to save yourself, while heaven only waits for you to stop and say, I'm ready to listen, Lord. Ignoring God's call isn't just refusing an invitation, it's forfeiting a piece of your destiny. Each day you hesitate, your blessing weakens. Each time you turn away, the path He opened narrows a little more. And each night you stay silent, the bell from heaven grows quieter inside your soul. There's nothing more haunting than that, knowing you were called but letting the call go unanswered. Yet God remains patient. He doesn't erase your name from heaven's scroll. He doesn't hang up. He keeps the line open and waiting for you to pick it up again. He knows you're tired. He sees your fear. And still, through the noise, He whispers, my child, I'm still here. You might think I'm too far gone, too late, too broken. But God is not bound by time or by sin. If Jonah could be lifted from the belly of the fish, if Samson could regain his strength, if Saul could be replaced by a man after God's own heart, then you too can return. You are not canceled, you are being called again. And chosen one, listen closely. When you ignore God's call, you're not just missing a moment, you're missing your destiny. His calling isn't a casual invitation for you to consider. It's the heartbeat of heaven pulsing for you alone. And with every beat, He whispers, you were born for this. Don't let His voice become a memory. Don't let your soul become the silence between two worlds. Because when you turn your back on the call, you don't just lose opportunity, you lose the very life that flows through your purpose. But there is still hope. If you're hearing these words right now, it means the call is still ringing. Heaven hasn't hung up. Your name still shines on the scroll of God. The light hasn't gone out. And all it takes is one response, one nod, one breath, one whisper, I'm ready. In that moment, heaven will move. The wind will shift. The storm will calm. And you, the one who once ran, will be drawn home again. Not by judgment, but by the arms of the one who loves you without condition. So don't stay silent anymore. Don't let that bell fade into the distance. Tonight, stop, listen, and answer the call. Speak, Lord, I'm listening. Because when you say that, you're not just hearing, you're being welcomed back into heaven's open embrace. And the first words you'll hear Him say are, welcome home. Part 2, 3 signs. Heaven is calling your name. After the storm settles, after the suffocating nights pass, sometimes you sense something not clear, not loud, just a feeling. A stirring in your soul you can't explain. As if someone gently touches your shoulder in the night and whispers, I'm still here. That is how heaven speaks to you, and if you become still enough, you'll notice 3 unmistakable signs, 3 sacred signals that God is trying to touch your life again. 1. Restlessness in your spirit. There are days you look around and everything seems the same. The familiar room, the familiar work, a life that appears steady. Yet inside there's an unease, a small flame that won't go out. You don't know why. No one hurt you. Nothing major happened. But your soul knows. It knows you don't belong here anymore. When Moses saw a bush that burned but was not consumed, he stopped. He didn't understand it, but something would not let him walk past, as if nothing were happening. Scripture says he said, I will turn aside and see this great sight. Right then, God called his name Moses, Moses. That is what's happening to you. This restlessness is not a sign you've lost your way. It's heaven realigning your course. Your soul is being repositioned to God's orbit. Maybe you're tired of the work that once thrilled you. Maybe the conversations that used to bring joy now feel empty. Or perhaps you feel like you're living out of place. Don't rush to blame yourself. That's not failure, it's awakening. When God wants to lead you into a new season, He doesn't always speak with thunder. He shifts something inside you. He makes the old place feel tight so you're compelled to step out. That restlessness is the first call. Don't smother it with entertainment busyness or empty talk. Sit still, listen, and ask, Lord, what are you saying to me through this feeling? Because this may be the moment He's about to open a new door. 2. Divine interruptions. Sometimes you pray for something, a job, a relationship, a dream, and it doesn't happen. A door closes, the phone never rings, someone you trusted turns away. You ask God why. What you call loss may actually be protection. God doesn't just hear your prayers, He sees what you can't see. He knows what part of your soul would be lost if you walked through that door. So He closes it, not to punish, but to protect. Scripture says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm. When Joseph was sold as a slave, when he was forgotten in prison, surely he asked, why, Lord? But in the end, those very interruptions seated him on Egypt's throne to save a nation from famine. A closed door isn't the end. It's God's hand quietly turning your life in a new direction. Maybe you're in the middle of an interruption right now. A plan collapsed. A relationship broke. A road you were sure was right suddenly vanished. Pause and breathe. Don't rush to blame. Don't conclude that heaven is silent. Sometimes silence is God's clearest word. He's telling you, not this path. I have another better, safer, and right on time. These interruptions are interventions, divine adjustments. God isn't making your life chaotic. He's calibrating it. 3. The inner whisper. And then there are times when no door slams shut and no storm rises. Only a voice small and very still within you. It doesn't sound human. It doesn't shout or pressure. It's light as breath, yet impossible to ignore. That is God's voice. The same voice that called Samuel in the night when he was a boy. The voice that brought Paul to his knees on the road to Damascus. And today, that same voice is calling you. When you're awake at 3 in the morning, unable to sleep, heart pounding, and you don't know why, that isn't anxiety. It's heaven's call. You sense something in the air, a movement you can't see. You can't explain it, you just know something is about to happen. That is God touching your heart and saying, it's time, don't be afraid, step forward. That voice may come through the smallest things, a verse you happen to read, a song that brings you to tears, a stranger's sentence that reaches straight into your pain. Nothing is random, nothing is just coincidence. It's all confirmation. Chosen one, don't wait for a massive miracle to believe God is speaking to you. He's speaking through every breath, every pause, every smallest touch. He doesn't need lightning, he only needs to whisper, and your soul will hear if you'll be still. The signs you notice, the number 777 repeating a dream. You can't forget the sense that something is shifting. They're not coincidences, they're confirmations. Tonight, if you feel restless, if you just lost something and don't know why, if you hear that small inner voice saying, believe you don't need more proof, God is calling you. Not to punish, but to lead you to the place He prepared long ago. When you're awake at 3 a.m., that isn't anxiety, it's God's call. When a door closes, that isn't rejection, it's protection. When your heart won't settle, that isn't instability, it's a signal that heaven is moving. And if you're hearing these words with trembling in your heart, know this: you didn't stumble here by accident. You were chosen to hear. These signs are not random, they are confirmation. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. So don't brush them off. Don't say it's probably nothing. Stop, breathe, and say it softly but clear enough for heaven to hear. I hear you, Lord. I'm ready. When you say that the letter bearing your name, the one glowing in heaven, will open. Light will pour down, and what you thought was the end will become a new beginning. Part 3. It's never too late. Your age is your weapon. Maybe you're hearing these words in a quiet room where the soft glow of a lamp touches a face shaped by time. Maybe you've weathered the storms of youth, tasted both joy and bitterness. Maybe you've come to believe your time has passed, that God has already finished His work in your life. But chosen one, I came to tell you this: it's never too late. And your age is not a burden. It's the weapon heaven has been forging through all your years. The Bible is filled with stories of people who thought their time was over, yet began their greatest journey at the very age others would have given up. Moses, 80 years old, was hiding in the desert tending his father-in-law's sheep. He had once been a prince, a warrior, a man of purpose. Now all that was left was silence, regret, and sand. Then one night a bush caught fire but was not consumed. The light didn't just illuminate the desert, it pierced his spirit. Moses, Moses. The voice didn't ask, "Are you still young enough?" or "Are you still strong enough?" It only asked, "Will you listen?" At 80, Moses rose, took his staff, and began the journey that would free millions from bondage. Abraham, 75 years old, received a promise, an impossible one, that he would be the father of nations. But he had no child, and his wife was old. When God spoke, he didn't laugh, but Sarah did. She laughed in disbelief. "At my age, could it still be?" And God replied, "Is anything too hard for me?" A year later, Sarah held her long-awaited child, a baby she had prayed for her whole life. Her laughter turned from doubt to proof. Chosen one. If God could use Moses at 80, Abraham at 75, and Sarah at 90, He can use you too, no matter your age or how far you've wandered. Age doesn't make you less, it makes you deeper. Age doesn't take away your calling, it strengthens you to carry it. Every wrinkle on your face is not a mark of weariness, it's evidence of survival. Every line tells a story, every scar is a victory. Every pain you've endured is sacred armor forged in the fire of trial. Every wrinkle on your face is proof you survived what was meant to destroy you. Some people say, "I've missed my chance, I've wasted too many years." But God doesn't see time the way humans do. He doesn't measure by calendars, He measures by faith. He doesn't say, "You're too late." He says, "Now you're ready." Because all those years, every wound, every fall, every tear were never wasted. Each moment you thought was loss, He was shaping it into preparation. Think of a potter's kiln. When the potter molds clay, he lets it be pressed, spun, and heated. If he stops too soon, the vessel cracks in the fire. If it's not fired long enough, it won't endure. But when the heat is just right, it shines strong, ready to hold living water. You are that vessel. Your years were not wasted time, they were refining fire. That flame didn't come to burn you, it came to strengthen you. When you look back and see the pain, don't just see loss. See the fingerprints of God. He was there when you fell. He was there when you felt forgotten. He was there rewriting the plan, clearing a path for a new season, a season only souls who've endured can enter. Maybe you think I've made too many mistakes. I'm not worthy anymore. But God doesn't use the perfect. He uses the broken because only the broken know how to bow. Your age doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you. Your age is proof of endurance. It's the evidence that you've survived storms others could not. It's the mark of wisdom, maturity, and unshakable faith. God needs you not in spite of your years, but because of them. He knows you are wise enough to discern truth from illusion, experienced enough to stand steady, and brave enough to no longer fear failure. Chosen one. You are not disqualified from heaven's plan. You've simply arrived at divine timing. When others gave up, you kept standing. When others lost faith, you still longed for something holy. That longing, that fire, is what sets you apart. That's what makes you chosen. Psalm 92 says, "The righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green." When God looks at you, He doesn't see your age. He sees your harvest. You are no longer a seed. You are a rooted tree, strong enough to withstand the storm. The young may have energy, but you have wisdom. They may have speed, but you have depth. They may have dreams, but you have faith refined by fire. Heaven doesn't search for youth. Heaven searches for willingness. And if you are willing, God can begin again anytime. Your pain was never wasted. God has been preparing you all along. Every hardship you've faced has been a brick on the road to your calling. Every disappointment has been a lesson in trust. Every tear has been rain watering the seed of faith. And now that seed is ready to bloom. So don't look in the mirror and see too late. Look deeper and see that you're standing in the fullness of grace. Age is not a warning of the end. It's heaven's confirmation that it's harvest time. You've survived what should have destroyed you. You've endured what broke others. And you're still here, still listening, still believing. That means God is not done with you. Chosen one, don't let anyone tell you you're too late. Don't let age make you doubt yourself. Because what you call scars, God calls marks of victory. Lift your head, smile. And know this, when heaven looks at you, it doesn't see someone old. It sees a warrior seasoned by battle, ready for glory. Age doesn't limit you. Age anoints you. Age doesn't slow you down. It deepens you, strengthens you, draws you closer to God. Because He didn't bring you this far just to stop here. He brought you here to begin. And tonight, God is saying to you, "My child, I'm not finished yet. Now is when I begin to truly use you." Part 4, the final call. Don't miss the train. Tonight, the platform is covered in mist. A soft yellow light spills across old station signs, glimmering off the raindrops resting on empty benches. In the distance, a train whistle echoes long, low, and slow, like a voice calling from the unseen. The train of heaven is about to depart. Chosen one, you're standing there. In your hand is the ticket of destiny engraved with your name in light. Your heart beats faster because deep down your soul knows this is the last train. But still you hesitate. You look around. You stall. Part of you wants to step forward, but another part fears the unknown. The loudspeaker calls again. All aboard. All passengers, please step on. But you stand there, your hand gripping the ticket, your eyes fixed on the glowing train emerging through the dark. You whisper to yourself, "Maybe I need more time. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe the next one." But chosen one, what you don't realize is there won't be a next one. Heaven doesn't call forever. Grace always has a window, not because God wants to punish, but because He knows humans only change when they realize time is running out. What if this is your last call? What if heaven's phone stops ringing? That question lingers in the air like a bell echoing through your chest. Do you hear it? That's not just the sound of a train. It's the final call of your destiny. I've seen too many souls standing on this platform. They heard the call. They felt the pull, but they chose silence. They said tomorrow. They said, when I'm more stable. They said, when I'm less tired, less busy, less broken, and then tomorrow never came. They stayed behind, watching the train of opportunity roll away, leaving only the wind, the grinding of wheels on the tracks, and a silence that could never be filled. Chosen one, do you know what hurts more than failure? Regret. Regret for staying quiet when you were meant to speak. Regret for stopping when you were meant to move. Regret for hesitating when heaven had already made the call clear. You stand on the platform, the conductor calls all aboard, and you hesitate. Just 1 second of fear, doubt, uncertainty, and the train begins to move. By the time you realize it, it's already gone. Silence doesn't just delay destiny, it derails it. Destiny isn't a still road, it's in motion. When God calls, He opens a door in time. If you don't walk through it, that door closes not out of punishment, but because divine timing is sacred. Maybe you've felt it lately, a stirring, a sense of urgency, something unexplainable whispering to your spirit. Hurry, don't wait. And you think maybe I'm imagining this, but no, that's heaven urging you one last time. Let me tell you about a man who once stood on that same platform. God had called him to forgive someone who betrayed him, but he said, "I'm not ready." Years passed. The person died. He never got the chance to say those words. He told me that for the rest of his life he heard the train whistle in his dreams, and every time the wind blew through his window, he heard all aboard echo in his heart. Regret is the heaviest sound a soul can carry. There was also a woman who dreamed of writing a book about her journey of faith. God gave her the idea, the inspiration, the opportunity, but she said, "I'm too busy." Years later, she sat in a hospital bed, looked out the window and whispered, "I should have written it long ago." She didn't have the strength to start again, but you're different. You still have time if you decide to listen now. Chosen one, don't let familiarity kill your miracle. Don't choose comfort over calling. God didn't call you to stay. He called you to move. You may not know where the journey leads, but once you step on that train, it will carry you exactly where you belong. God isn't asking you to know every step, just to trust and get on board. Heaven's train isn't loud. There are no bright signs or grand announcements. Only one sound, a single whistle that only a quiet heart can hear. And when you hear it, you must choose step on or stay behind. To stay is to repeat the same cycles, the same fears, same delays, same doubts. To step on is to surrender control and let God drive your life toward something greater than you imagined. What if this is your last call? That question isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you. We all think we have time, but who knows if today is the last time heaven will call your name? Who knows if the next train will ever come? Don't let the final whistle become a sound of regret. Let it become the anthem of your new beginning. If your heart is pounding as you hear these words, if something inside whispers, "This is for me," then don't wait another second. Say it softly but loud enough for heaven to hear, "I'm ready. I won't miss it this time." And when you say that, the train will pause, light will fall upon your face, and heaven will whisper, "I've been waiting for you." You'll step on the door, will close behind you, and the train will begin to move. The wheels will hum, the wind will rush past the windows, and your soul will feel lighter, as if a lifetime of burdens has finally fallen away. Ahead, the light grows brighter, and deep within you know, you're being carried exactly where God always meant for you to be. Silence doesn't just delay destiny, it derails it. Don't let silence destroy the miracle heaven is weaving for you. Don't let this train depart without you on it. Tonight, when the whistle sounds again, remember you are not just a passenger. You are the chosen, the called, the beloved, and this train is your way home to the destiny you were born for. Chosen one, the train is ready. It's time to step on board and let heaven take you where you've always belonged. Part 5. Answer the call and watch heaven move. Dawn is coming. The first light slips through the window, brushing the old wall as if the sun were whispering, "It's time to wake up." Not just mourning for the world outside, but mourning for your soul. The night has been long, the journey exhausting, the tears have fallen. But now something is shifting. You are no longer in the darkness of doubt, no longer standing on the platform of hesitation. You have answered. And when you answer, heaven begins to move. When you answer, your life stops being survival, it becomes supernatural. When you say, "Yes, Lord, I'm listening," something vibrates in the air. An invisible door opens, no noise, no thunder, only light pouring into the place you thought would be dark forever. Your heart feels lighter. Fear begins to fade. A fresh river flows through you, washing off the dust of the years. And for the first time in a long time, you smile, not because everything is perfect, but because you know God is with you. When you answer, miracles begin. Not the flash and shout kind, but quiet miracles, deep, steady, enduring, unfolding inside your soul. A door that was once shut starts to crack open. A broken relationship is mended by a forgiveness you never thought you had the strength to give. A divided family gathers again, not through eloquent speeches, but through a silence filled with love. An old dream you buried long ago comes back to life. You see it with different eyes, no longer a dream of pride, but a desire to serve, a desire to live the purpose heaven planted in your heart. You realize that when you answer, everything around you answers too. The weeds in your heart begin to bloom. Those who once wounded you appear not to hurt, but to close a chapter. Prayers once whispered in desperation are answered not in the way you wanted, but in the way you needed. Everything doesn't suddenly become perfect, but suddenly there is order. Because when you place your yes in God's hands, He sets all of heaven in motion for you. Your miracle begins the moment you say yes. Miracles don't begin when you see results. They begin when you trust. When you nod in the dark and say, "I'll go, even though I can't see the way." When you choose to love while your heart is still hurting. When you choose to pray, even when nothing seems to change. That very moment the miracle starts. Imagine this heaven is like a great symphony, and the moment you say yes, the orchestra begins to play the score written just for your life. The sound of light, of hope, of rebirth. As you follow the call, God arranges what you cannot control. The people you need will appear. The right doors will open. Old struggles will turn into lessons, and yesterday's tears will become a fresh stream that nourishes others. I know what you might be thinking. I've said yes many times, and I still fell. And God answers, "It's all right, child. Every time you fell, I was there. I don't count how many times you go down. I count how many times you come back." Because He is not looking for perfection. He's looking for willingness. And that willingness, even a small whisper, is strong enough to shake the heavens. You may not see results right away. Tomorrow may still look like yesterday. But inside, a new seed has been planted. And that seed, however small, carries the energy of the universe within it. It will grow. It will break through the thick soil of fear. And one morning, you'll open your eyes and realize you are no longer who you were. You will not merely exist, you will live. When you answer the call, you become part of a current greater than yourself. Your life is no longer just your story. It becomes a testimony for a generation. Others will see the change in you and not understand why. They will ask what happened to you, and you will smile and quietly say, "I just said yes to God." Chosen One, heaven is not calling you to frighten you. He calls to remind you you still have value, you still have purpose, you still have a reason to wake up each morning. He wants you to step out of the comfort zone, out of fear, out of the past, and into the light of a sacred now. Let your answer ring through the heavens. I am here. I'm ready. I will go. And when you say it, you'll feel the wonder. The atmosphere shifts. The space around you brightens. Peace fills your heart like the gentle wind of early morning. When you answer, your life stops being survival. It becomes supernatural. That's not just a phrase, it's truth. When you answer, everything around you begins to come alive in supernatural ways. You'll see God's hand in the small things, a meeting, a smile, a ray of light breaking through the clouds. You'll see Him even in the ordinary and realize nothing is ordinary when God is working in your life. So, chosen one, do not fear, do not doubt. Do not wait another second to say yes. Your miracle is waiting on the other side of your answer. And when you answer, heaven will move not only for you, but for those whose destinies are tied to yours. The windows of blessing will open. Your family will find healing. The dream you buried will rise again. And your heart, once shattered, will beat to the rhythm of hope. Because the miracle begins the moment you say yes. Your miracle begins the moment you say yes. Say it today. Not when you feel ready, but right now, while your heart is still trembling. Say yes with all your weakness, because it is in your weakness that God's power is made perfect. And then you will see, not only will your life change, but the world around you will shift as well. Because when a chosen one answers, heaven trembles with joy. The night has passed. Morning is near, and the voice of heaven still speaks, gentle, patient, full of love. I call you not to fear, but to live. Are you ready? If your heart is beating a little faster, that is your sign. Don't overthink, don't delay. Just say, yes, Lord, here I am. And watch. Heaven begins to move. Now the room is filled with soft light. The background music fades, and all that remains is the steady sound of peace, breathing through the space. The pale glow of dawn lays a warm mantle over your soul, gentle, tender, sacred. Chosen one, you've walked with me through this whole journey, from the darkness of fear, through the winds of warning, into the dawn of awakening. And now, as the world grows quiet, I ask you to do just one thing. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your heartbeat in your chest. Feel the life still flowing within you. Every beat is proof that God has never left. There are 3 truths you must carry with you, like 3 sacred gems engraved with your name. God's call has never stopped, even when you wandered, when you doubted, when you were tired. He kept calling. He doesn't hang up, doesn't go silent, doesn't forget. His call has sounded since the day you were formed, and it will sound until the day you come home. Wherever you are, however far you've gone, there is still a gentle voice from heaven, my child. I'm still waiting. 2, your age is not a limit. It is divine timing. The years behind you were not delays, they were preparation. God taught you through every pain, every tear, every fall and rise. None of it was wasted. It is the foundation, the witness to the great work He is about to do through you. If you still have breath, He still has a plan. If your heart still beats, a mission still awaits. Your age is not your limitation. It's your divine timing. 3, your pain is not punishment. It is preparation. Every wound you carry, every memory that brings tears, God has used them to make your heart softer, kinder, deeper. He doesn't waste your tears. He keeps every drop in His bottle and turns them into rain that refreshes your soul and the souls of others. Your pain was never wasted. It was your preparation. Now, chosen one, close your eyes, place a hand over your heart, and listen to the rhythm within. Each beat is God saying, I am here. I have never forgotten you. He saw your sleepless nights, heard your whispered prayers in the dark. He knows when you fell and thought you couldn't rise again. Even when you had no words, your soul was still speaking to Him, and heaven heard. Chosen one, you are not forgotten. Your name is engraved on the palm of God's hand. Your voice is heard in the sacred realm, and light is still coming toward you, no matter where you are. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. Heaven still knows your name. Now I want to pray with you. If you can close your eyes, let your heart become still like calm water, and let these words reach the deepest place within you. Father in heaven, I pray for the one hearing these words. Lord, you see them, their pain, their weariness, and the fragile hope still burning in their hearts. Touch them now. Heal the wounds that have slept too long. Reignite the flame of faith that has dimmed. Let them know they are chosen, they are loved, and there is a purpose only they can fulfill. Cover them with your peace and let them hear your voice calling their name once more. Now take a deep breath, and as you exhale, let the old things go. Fear, guilt, regret, all of it. Leave it in God's hands. From this moment on, you are not alone. Heaven is moving around you, and His gentle voice still speaks. Not to remind you of your past, but to lead you into the future He has prepared. If these words touched your soul, if peace is spreading through your heart, let your sign rise to heaven. Type Amen or 727 in the comments. Share this message with someone they may need to know they have never been forgotten. And don't miss tomorrow's message, because heaven may call your name again. Chosen one, your story is still being written. And on every new page, heaven whispers, I choose you, I know you, and I have never forgotten you.